Let me just share some personally. I think there's a whole different thing we might say if we're talking about churches, but let's just talk about individuals for a moment. The first thing I would say that I think can be really helpful is begin by looking at your social media feeds and try and not be weird online. What do I mean by that? Well, I think the social media feeds of many Christians that I come across, if I am honest, fall into one or two categories. Some of us sort of gum up our social media feeds with, no Christian content at all. So lots of pictures of the kids and the cat doing something funny and pictures of our holidays, but nothing at all Christian. Not sure that's helpful. On the other hand, you have Christians who fill up their social media feeds with some of the naffest Christian content I've ever seen. Just terribly photoshopped memes and cheesy stuff. Sometimes even worse, we send it to our friends. I was doing an event a few years ago where a woman raised her hand in the Q&A and said, Andy, I want your advice. I've been sending a Christian video to my sister who's not a Christian without fail every week for the last 2 years. She's just emailed me and asked me to stop. What should I do? And it was almost like I think people in the audience called out, stop. I was like, that was my first advice. Well, stop, because you're drowning her, and if it's taken 104 videos for her to finally say no, you've obviously got a very good relationship. I recommend you preserve it and press reset. So think wisely about what goes on social media. So what about just sharing really good Christian content? Stuff that, mix it in with normal everyday life, but just good quality stuff that is not going to embarrass people. And at risk of a shameless plug, take a look at Solas, the organisation we lead, solas-cpc.org. We've got loads of content you can share online. So the first thing is, don't be weird. Second thing I would recommend online is look to extend your tribe a little bit. We talked earlier about digital flocking. Don't just hang out with Christians. Don't just join Christian Facebook groups or whatever social media platform you use. Don't just follow Christian accounts. Try and mingle with people who are not like you. One great way of doing that on social media, I use Facebook as an example a lot because that's my generation. Younger people watching this are going to go, "You are so old." Well, I am. I'm 50, so Facebook is my thing. But find what are the interests that you have. Maybe it's a sport. Maybe it's a TV show that you love. Join some online communities related to that thing and start building relationships, and then look for ways through those relationships just to introduce the gospel. Don't just hang out with Christians, because you won't get that very, very far. And thirdly, I think the last thing I would say is, engage with people. If, on your feed pops up somebody saying something interesting about spirituality, what about making a comment? Be positive. If you come across an atheist on your social media feed saying something rude, don't be rude back, don't get aggressive, but just say, "Hey, thank you for that observation. I wonder if I might ask a question." And look for ways to start conversations, because online is very easy to do that. So those have been my 3 bits of advice. Don't be weird, reach beyond your tribe, and try and engage one-to-one with people.